Hi guys, welcome back to another video of Formula 1 Challenge 1995. Today is round 3 of the season, the San Marino Grand Prix in Imola. If you haven't seen the previous video, the Argentinian Grand Prix, go and check it out. We managed to get our first podium with finishing on P2, thanks to the rain chaos and a lot of retirements caused by that. So we're 1 year after the tragic accidents of Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger, so the track has been changed to make it slower and safer. Before that, I've been playing seasons 85, 86, so it's been a bit of a struggle to get used to the new layout and all the changes that have been made. So before we jump into the qualifying, let's have a look at the table, see where we're standing. So as you can see, Johnny Herbert is leading the championship with 12 points, followed by Michael Schumacher, his teammate, on 10 points. We're currently third with 6 points, alongside Damon Hill, who is fourth with 6 points. Then David Coulthard, 4 points, Frentzen, 4 points, Berger, 3 points, followed by Bouillon on 3. Mika Häkkinen has only 2 points. Jean Alesi in the other Ferrari is 1 point, followed by Pedro Lamy in the Minardi, which is actually a really good result from him. And then all the rest of the pack is on 0 points currently. So let's just go over and have a look at the constructor standings. Here we are. Benetton is leading massively with 22 points, followed by Williams, less than half the points, Sauber 7 points, and here we go with Simtek on P4 in the Constructors' Championship with 6 points. Let's go to the qualifying. Here we are with the qualifying lap. Let's see where we're going to end up on the grid for the race. So we're going towards Tamburello, and here you can see one of the changes they made. There is a chicane here right now to make sure that we're coming a bit slower onto the next part of the track, which you can see here. This chicane actually seems to be a bit slower than in the 80s as well. No changes here on the track. This is exactly as it was before. So we're just going after whoever was in front of us over there in the distance. Now you can't even see him anymore. Here also no changes here. And I was struggling a bit here because in the 80s there's been a chicane here, and now it's just a relatively fast right-hander. And then we're on to the next chicane. This has always been here. And then we just go down the hill towards the slow left-hander. And at this point I made a note for myself to be easier on the brakes because I didn't want to repeat the same as in Brazil, which you'll see on the race that I tried my best. And here we go on to the finish line. Frentzen made the first. Where is it enough? And as you can see, the end of the session, it's been an absolutely bonkers qualifying. Frentzen made it to P1, and we're starting right next to him on the grid, followed by Schumacher, Hill, and Coulthard. So yeah, we're looking forward to this one because it's probably it's definitely the best qualifying we've had so far, P2. So let's just head over to the grid, do the grid walk, and start the race. Here we are on the grid, Frentzen starting from P1. Here we go on P2, completing the front row. Right behind Frentzen is Michael Schumacher in the Benetton, followed by Damon Hill and David Coulthard, the two Williams cars. Then Johnny Herbert in P6. He's currently our rival according to the game. Won the previous Grand Prix in Argentina. I think he was starting from the same position as well. Alesi P7. Berger in the other Ferrari P8. Häkkinen P9 in the McLaren. Barrichello P10 in the Jordan. Followed by Blundell in P11. Here we made a mistake. We should have put Menzel for the third Grand Prix, but that will do. Irvine P12, P13 for the Ligier of Olivier Panis, P14 Bouillon, Morbidelli in P15, Mika Salo in P16, Ukio Katayama in P17, Montermini P18, Diniz P19, Brundle P20, again massively outqualified by his teammate in the other Ligier, Badouer in the Minardi P21, Lamy P22, Inoue P23, Bertrand Gachot P24, Moreno on P25, and our teammate Jos Verstappen P26 completing the grid. Here we are waiting for the lights to go on and out. And the race is on. We look a bit to the side, see Verstappen, and Schumacher gets an amazing start. Slips right into P1. We go in for the dive on the next chicane, go a bit wide. On the comeback we hit Schumacher and manage to stick to P1. Now we need to open a bit of a gap to him. But here he is again, and we touch wheels again and stay on P1. Quite an aggressive start from both ourselves and Schumacher on this race, so there might be some more fighting in the future. But for now we just need to build a bit of a gap to try to use it to our advantage and somehow to outrace the Benetton with its superior speed. We're going up the hill towards the next chicane, and here's the beginning of lap 2. Enter Michael Schumacher with the suicide diving of the century. He's on P1 now. Right behind us, Frentzen very close, while Schumacher has already started to open the gap and just waltzes away in the distance. On the straight line, we're just unable to keep up with the Benetton. So now the plan is just to try to open a gap to Frentzen and chase behind Schumacher, who will probably open the gap even more to us. Here we go in the chicane, going a bit wide and already opening the gap to Frentzen. As you can see here, Schumacher is already more than 5 seconds ahead, while we managed to open up some gap to Frentzen, more than 1 second. However, he seems to be faster on the corner, while we seem to have a higher speed in the straights than the Sauber. So now just need to try and hold on to this position and just get the best possible result. Frentzen is staying behind, probably started a fight with Hill as well, or Coulthard, or whoever is on P4 now in the Williams. I'm pretty sure it's one of the Williams cars. Again going uphill towards the chicane, and at the beginning of P8 you can see that Hill overtook Frentzen, so we have a change of plans now, and we're just trying to hold uphill until the car behind him catches up with him and they start a fight. And while he's busy fighting whoever is behind him, we try to open another bit of a gap. Schumacher is already way up, more than 10 seconds ahead of us, so he's building a massive lead at this point, and he started to put up one fastest lap after the other in this race, so he seems to be truly unstoppable now. As we go again on the right-hander and uphill towards the next chicane, Hill is pretty close, so we'll have some fighting to do with him. He doesn't go for the move in the chicane, which would have been a bit risky, so we just go and hold on to P2 for now. Try to open a bit of a gap, but it doesn't really work out for us. Lap 10, you can see Coulthard overtook Hill. Our plan seems to have worked very well, so now we can open a bit of a gap while Hill and Coulthard are busy fighting each other. More than 1 second at this point. Schumacher in a 15 seconds lead. There's just no way for anyone to catch up to him at this point. And here we go, downhill, still enjoying a comfortable lead over Coulthard. The two right-handers up the hill towards the chicane. Opening the gap further to Coulthard. Again going a bit wide, a bit off the track here. This chicane seems to be very tricky for us. Here we go with almost 2 seconds from Hill, who overtook his teammate again, and now he started to close the gap. While Schumacher put up another fastest lap. Tire wear is starting to kick in, so from this point on our job's gonna be more difficult. Into the chicane from Tamburello. Then over to the next one, and you can see Hill is driving like a madman, getting really close already within half a second. So we'll just go back to the original plan, try to hold him up until Coulthard gets in a position to try and overtake him, and we just try to open another gap while they are busy fighting each other. Hill very close, but doesn't go for the move in the right-hander. Simply not enough space for him there. Through the chicane, still very close with Hill. We had a better exit of the chicane, so we could build a gap, but as soon as the Williams reaches a higher speed, we just then no chance against him, so we're gonna have to work for this position quite heavily. Hill is still very close. Bit of a slide here in the corner. As you can see, Schumacher is already 21 seconds ahead. At this point he could do a comfortable pit stop and still come back first. So I hope at the end of the race he's going to buy us a couple of beers for giving this race to him by holding up Hill so badly. And here he goes. Here goes Damon Hill with a copycat move of Schumacher's suicide dive. He's up to P2. But here we go, trying to go back on him. Doesn't really work out. He gets the better exit out of the corner. And here we go, it's our turn to go for the suicide dive. And there we go, back to P2. So we can just get back to the original plan now, trying to force his teammate into a fight. And as you can see, this is as far as it took us. Lap 14, we're ready to go out to the pit. At this point the tires are completely gone, there is next to no grip at all on them. As you can see, we're running off the track and go all the way down to P5. We just rejoin the track behind Frankson. So it's time to exit, go out to the pits, get a fresh set of tires, and go back to the chase. We'll see where we end up after this pit stop. 7.4 seconds, not a good pit stop, not a bad one either. So here we go back on P12, slightly behind Bouillon, and it took us all the way to P19 until we managed to catch up with him. And here we go for a massive dive. Force him out of the track. Makes a big mistake as he tries to avoid collision. This might have been a little bit too aggressive for a move from us. But there we go, chasing after Irvine. At the end of lap 19, we finally catch up to the Jordan man and just make the overtake on the last chicane and go after Panis in the Ligier, who is currently on P9 and started from P13, so he's doing a really great job. Frentzen just came back on lap 21 in front of us from the pit stop behind Panis. Another big mistake in the first chicane, so Frentzen just takes back the position, and it seems to be more and more difficult to catch up with him. Besides, we have to go out for our second pit stop. Here we go. In front, as you can see here, the two Benettons are out of the race. I actually have no idea why we're making a pit stop in front of the Benetton garage, but whatever. Both Schumacher and Herbert are out of the race now. And at this point, just hell broke loose on the track, and there's been a lot of accidents. And many drivers just started to retire and DNF out of the race. As you can see on the top left corner, Morbidelli is out of the race as well. We're closing up to Panis, and not quite enough space to make the overtake. So we go for the move here and just chase after Blundell in the McLaren. Opening the gap to Panis, who seemed to be a bit faster than him. In lap 22, we finally caught up with Blundell in the McLaren and make the move on him in the last chicane. And as you can see, two Jordans are here next to the track, crashed out. So something crazy must have happened. A lot of cars are out of the race by this time. And here you can see on lap 21, Häkkinen in the other McLaren has an 8-second gap to us, and there is a Ferrari in front of us, which means we're about to lap a Ferrari who is actually fighting for position with one of the 40s. And just there is no way to overtake. They just block the entire track going side by side. So now we're going to force our way past them. Job done, easy. Leads to a huge mistake. We just ran off the track in the last chicane. And we're up to P4 thanks to all the DNFs and crashes and accidents that have happened. Something must have happened at the pit entry. And yeah, so not much happened for the rest of the race. We were just driving in empty air behind Häkkinen, who opened the gap all the way up to 13 seconds. So by the looks of it, it's gonna be P4 for us on this race, which is not a bad result. Though, even though we started on P2, we fought Michael Schumacher for a short while, then had a great fight with Hill. Big mistake here, and at this moment, Coulthard wins the race in the other Williams. At least one of them stayed in the competition. Frentzen second, starting from P1 with the Sauber, so good result. Häkkinen comes in third. Finally, he as well gets a great result. And here we go on P4. Blundell P5, Panis P6 in the Ligier, Bouillon P7, and here's the winner. Kudos to Coulthard. Good job. Must have had an amazing race, especially after his teammate crashed out. Another crazy race in the season, the second one in a row that ends up with a couple of DNFs. So here's the final results. Coulthard, Frentzen, Häkkinen, us in P4, Blundell, Panis, Bouillon, Salo, Montermini, Brundle, Lamy, Inoue, P12 with the footwork, really good job. Gasho, Alesi, Diniz, Moreno, and Irvine already on DNF. Our teammate Verstappen is out as well. As you can see, a lot of accidents, especially in lap 21. So let's take a look at the standings before we finish up here. Coulthard is leading the championship with 14 points, followed by Herbert, Schumacher, Frentzen, and we're in P5, 3 points ahead of Damon Hill. Let's have a look at the constructors table. P4. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and I'll see you at the next race in Spain. Goodbye.